back to Just One Question. This is Neelakshi Sengupta, and I have with me today Brian Tellis. Brian is known for his work in radio, as a singer, as an actor, and for his extremely successful companies Fountainhead and Orange Juice in the event and entertainment space. He has also worked in the English theatre stage for years. And I want to know from him about his experience with the Disney production, Beauty and the Beast, that had an interesting combination of Indian and Western collaboration. It is definitely a huge success story. But how was it different from the shows that were happening until then? Tell us, please, Brian.
So to begin with, of course, there was a well-crafted story, which is invaluable to any storytelling exercise. And it's Beauty and the Beast is a great story, globally recognized and loved story. I think that was the first advantage that Beauty and the Beast enjoyed. The second thing I think is the advantage that Disney enjoys in its knowledge globally. And a lot of it was shared through a couple of people with Vikrant Pawar, who directed it, and Shruti, who was the assistant director. So we enjoyed a fair bit of international knowledge and experience, and I think that's the first factor that made a difference. The second factor was that Disney did not compromise, whether it was on choosing the cast that they kind of inducted into the effort, whether it was rehearsal time that they planned for, whether it was production values that they invested in, costumes. So Disney, I do believe, was not looking at it purely from a P&L point of view. And so as a consequence, a happy consequence, they did not cut corners. They gave it their everything, and I think that was the big differentiator.
Okay, and that brings me to the next point, Brian. Is it difficult for Indian productions to dream big when the financial support may not be easily available? Does musical theatre, particularly English, face that?
It's not the easiest to create sustainability in theatre, but there's a large yes and a smaller no, and there are a few reasons for it. I mean, I think there's a paucity of venues, and when that happens, obviously supply demand determines that the cost of these venues goes up. So that's the one aspect.
Okay.
The second aspect why it's not sustainable is, and that's changing, I must add, is the price, ticket pricing. I mean, when we go internationally, we're willing to pay a certain amount that we're not willing to pay when we're back home in India. And when you examine and ask yourself why, there are a few factors that are justifiable, there are a few that are not.
I hope that changes soon.
So you see the quality of theatre, you see the aspiration to see theatre internationally is higher for some of the right reasons. But I think there's a change happening here. For instance, in Adhyam, we are focusing on not just providing good proscenium theatre, but we are hoping to make it, and we are working very hard towards making it part of the cultural currency of India. At this point in time, one's willing to pay top dollar for a wonderful meal, one's willing to pay top dollar for a good film that you go to a theatre for, but there is this restraint shown when it comes to theatre. I do believe, however, blame it on optimism, but blame it on reality as well, that there is a change happening. More and more people are actually willing to pay a premium for theatre. And I do believe over the next 5 years to 10 years, there'll be a massive change in people's perception of theatre and what they're willing to do to consume it. So, like I said, I'm optimistic about the going forward.
Thanks, Brian. Yes, we do live in hope. And things have changed. And more will. I must thank you for sharing so much. I'm sure the audience is a tad richer by the knowledge that you shared. I'll be back for more soon. And with that, we come to an end of one more episode of Just One Question. Thank you guys for listening in. This is Neelakshi Sengupta, and I shall take your leave now with the promise of bringing back more soon.